Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, if you remember from earlier on in the day, we reviewed John Cena versus Triple H at WrestleMania 22. That, of course, was from WrestleMania 22, aka 2006. Of course, that was John Cena's first WrestleMania main event, and 1 year later, John Cena once again finds himself. First of all, he once again finds himself as WWE champion, and he lost it in the interim between 2006 and 2007, and so he lost it briefly in between WrestleManias, but he was able to get it back, and so once again going into the main event as WWE champion, but this time he faces the other half of D-Generation X, that being Shawn Michaels. Wonder when Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, China, and X-Pac are going to get their main event, and it's against John Cena. And I guess throw in Hornswoggle while you're at it, and Rick Rude, and Tori, and Kane. And I think that's everyone. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. So John Cena finds himself standing across the ring from another member of D-Generation X in Shawn Michaels, and it's made even more punctuated by the fact that Shawn Michaels actually comes out with the DX theme. So later on in 2006, Triple H did do the crouch chop in his match against John Cena, but later on in 2006, D-Generation X would officially reunite. Fun fact, apparently, the rumor has it was supposed to be a Rockers reunion, and that being Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. They had kind of been teaming up going against the McMahons and everything. This is when Shawn Michaels had his rivalry with Mr. McMahon, but apparently that fell through because Marty Jannetty got let go. If I'm not mistaken, I believe related to his unfortunate substance abuse issues. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong, but instead they decided to do a D-Generation X reunion, and potentially unpopular opinion. And I promise I won't take too long with this tangent, and I did go on quite a few tangents in the last one. I apologize, but kind of just a brief tangent. And maybe an unpopular opinion, I didn't hate 2006 D-Generation X. Like, was as good as the run in the 90s? Not really. But they were still pretty funny. Like, now then again, I am kind of easily amused, but come on, like, them impersonating the McMahon's, spray painting Vince McMahon's private jet, spray painting the WWE headquarters, and stuff like that, like come on, and hacking like the feet, when they took over the production truck, okay, and kind of the shenanigans they got up to there. Come on, it was funny. Come on, but nevertheless, as by this time Triple H is out with injury, so Shawn Michaels is stepping up. But how will he fare against the Doctor of Thugonomics, aka Big Match John? By this point, John Cena had kind of dropped that gimmick. He still had some of the mannerisms of it, but had kind of switched to the not quite Super Cena, but we're upgrading to that. But how would Shawn Michaels do when it's his turn to go after the WWE Championship? Let's find out. I'm of course talking about John Cena versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23. So as always, first as always, I gotta take a sip of my water, but there we go. But as always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I would say, had a really great time with this match. And I would say and I said we would do the comparison between WrestleManias to see which one is the better match. In my opinion, I think it's this one. So let's find out why. Let's get right into it now. If you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about this match. So starting with what I liked about the match, excuse me. But starting with what I liked about the match, I mentioned how Triple H definitely could be trusted to give a good match to John Cena. The same can be said for Shawn Michaels, but possibly even more so. There's a reason Shawn Michaels is called Mr. WrestleMania. Not because he wins all the time. In fact, he wound up losing most of his WrestleMania appearances, but mainly because you can always rely on Shawn Michaels to give a good WrestleMania performance. And the feud going into this was interesting. So Shawn Michaels and John Cena had been kind of tag team partners. They were even tag team champions in this match. At which they were doing the whole "can they coexist?" something that WWE loves to do with its world champions. Before and since this moment, they did it with these two. They did it with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman at one point several years down the line. I'm surprised they didn't do it for Bret Hart and Lex Luger. I think if you're gonna do it, which admittedly that's usually been kind of corny to me, but if you're gonna do it, I think that probably would have been the good time to do it. It have Bret Hart and Lex Luger or doing the whole "can they coexist?" and even popping the tag titles on them. I don't think I would have hated. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't have been able to weigh in too much because I wasn't alive yet, so I wasn't watching at the time. But yeah, they did that with them, and WWE's not the only one. Hell, AEW has a whole tournament dedicated to it, the Blind Tag Eliminator, and we saw pretty much something similar to kind of this scenario with Adam Cole and MJF at All In 2023. But nevertheless, so the story was going into this is will Shawn Michaels eventually turn his back on John Cena? Shawn Michaels turned his back on just about all his tag team partners except for Triple H. Mainly the reason for that is because Triple H beat him to the punch back in 2002. But it was always questioned, when will Shawn Michaels turn on John Cena? Eventually he kind of did, although he did say, "I would have your back until WrestleMania." But that seemed to not quite be the case. And so, that leading to this match here, and this match was a lot of fun. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, two very different styles. Triple H a lot more technical, a lot more methodical. Meanwhile, Shawn Michaels more of a high flyer, more fast paced, more exciting in a way. And I think it complemented John Cena exceptionally well here. And to see kind of the progression in between WrestleManias for John Cena, at least WrestleMania main events for John Cena, going from 22 to 23, it's somewhat subtle, but you do notice it, and you do notice John Cena has upped his game a bit. Sadly, the entrance, in my opinion, him just driving through in the car, or crashing through the glass to his match in the car. It makes sense, we're in Detroit, so Detroit cars, stuff like that, but not as cool as the gangster one from the previous year. Just my opinion, but no. As for the match, very fun back and forth, very exciting. But both men, you can tell, are very spent in this match. They just do a lot of back and forth between each other. Both men even getting color at one point. Shawn with the getting busted open on the side of his face. John Cena actually getting busted open on the back of his head. So Shawn went into the turnbuckle and got busted open that way. Blading was still allowed. I'm not saying Shawn Michaels did blade, but wouldn't surprise me. But nevertheless, and then John Cena got busted open after Shawn Michaels hit the pile driver on the steel steps onto John Cena. I'm pretty sure that's where Kevin Owens got the inspiration from. But yeah, nevertheless, very good back and forth between the two. That fast-paced, fun offense. Some moments where almost for Shawn Michaels, even for me, who knows the outcome of this match already, that being John Cena retains. And funnily enough, John Cena retained the exact same way, kinda, that he did last year at the STFU on Shawn Michaels. This time, Shawn didn't do like the drop of the arm spot that Triple H did. Instead, this time he just flat out tapped out. But yeah. So. Very fun back and forth between the two, including some really cool spots. So with both men scrambling to get the upper hand on the other, including at the end, and when John Cena is going for the FU, Shawn Michaels escapes at first, but then locks in the STFU, or even a little bit earlier when John Cena is about to lock it in, but Shawn kind of gets him in a sort of semi cradle, if you will. So kind of that fun back and forth, showing kind of the instinct and the wizardry of Shawn Michaels. The somewhat technical wizardry. Shawn Michaels could hang with the technicians, even though technical style wasn't necessarily his style, if that makes any sense. But I think having that really complemented with Cena, and Shawn almost desperate to beat Cena, having that be the overarching story. Both men really desperate and even struggling against each other to get the upper hand. I think adding to that drama and the tension of the match, I think, was very well done, and it made for a very interesting and exciting match in that regard. And like I said, ultimately John Cena does pick up the win, and the crowd is. The crowd kind of has the same response they did the previous year, where you have some that are kind of against Cena. This time it seems even more weighted against Cena. We're not quite at Super Cena, but we do see its origins here. But nevertheless, they do pop when John Cena gets the win and with the STFU, and he even leans over. Or I do like that extra bit, because that does add a little bit extra to that whole desperation story of John Cena having to lean over as Shawn tries to escape, having to lean over till he's all the way on his side. Hope you like the t-shirt. Leaning all the way over to the side with the STFU, who making the STFU look somewhat competent. Saying it ain't so, but yeah. So very fun match in that regard. In terms of what I didn't quite like as much, kind of the similar issue I had with the previous year, where there's some moments where the match does drag. Now, it's not, thankfully, to the match's credit, it's not quite as much as the previous year, especially with this one. Especially with this one being about 5 minutes longer, or actually 6 minutes, I should say. 6 minutes, about 28 minutes. It's so 6 minutes longer than the previous year, but they are there, and like I said, thankfully it's not too many to where the match super drags, but there are kind of moments where it drags, especially as the referee's taken out. And you would think when the referee's taken out, that's when, and it'd be amped up even more, but I think that's when it really starts to slow down a little bit. Obviously, I get it. I get why they do that, to give the wrestlers the chance to catch their breath and everything, but I think still a little too much for my liking. Like I said, not as much or not as egregious as the previous year, but it is still very much there. But yeah, still a very fun match. Like I said, I think this one surpasses John Cena vs. Triple H at WrestleMania 22, but I am glad I was able to watch and review and compare both. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the match and my review of the match. Do you like the match? Do you like my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.